elevator shafts before they build the building. They build the shaft, and then they pour the slab, and then they frame the building and build the building around it. Because of that, you can't just buy an elevator. They have to take the elevator out piece by piece and custom make an elevator to the specs of the elevator shaft so it fits in your elevator shaft. Elevators are very expensive, to the tune of somewhere around $80,000 or $90,000 a piece. And so we put a conservative estimate of about $450,000 for the elevators. Timeline would be pending the board approval, but I'll talk a little bit about when I'm going to make the formal request. Assuming I put it on the board agenda for December, we can start putting the RFP out in the process. It's going to take a while. Even after we get an elevator company that ultimately wins the scope of the job, or whatever, from my understanding of talking to Les, they're very slow. They have a long list of people that could be ahead of us. It's going to take a while to get 4 new elevators, even if we started today. Formal requests will come in the December board meeting. I'm going to put an agenda item on the December board agenda to ask for the approval to do a budget amendment to for us to get started to allocate money for the elevators, and then we need to get started. And you know, the board can vote it up or down. I want to use this as an opportunity for us to discuss it. But I really feel like that this is something that is going to be addressed eventually. We need to address it now instead of just waiting for someone to get locked up in the elevator for 5 hours. Questions about that? Okay. All right. Current AB West School. Some of you may have seen this facility. Where is this at exactly, Les?
7800 West Glen.
Okay, where is that at, Les?
It's right on.
Yeah, West Glen, I know where that is at.
It's on Hill Road, South 59 freeway, just before Hill Road.
Okay, and what did this building used to be? An office building?
It was an office, had an MHRA in it, and a couple of other businesses.
Okay. So for all y'all know, our AV campuses are our campuses for our severe and profound special ed students. Probably, I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but certainly this campus is a fantastic campus and probably one of our most popular campuses. And that campus stays full. I mean, the seats are sold and bought, immediately once they become available. We have school districts from all over the county who want to send kids to this school. We have no issue with enrollment in the school. Very successful program. The problem is this program is got major issues. First one is I'll start with the exterior, just some structural integrity issues. We have some big foundation issues. This is the front of the building and the sidewalk as an example of some of the other things I'm about to show you. I don't know if that's from the root system of the trees, but you have this one here though, and that's the one I don't get.
Well, one pushes the other.
Okay. And so that could be part of our problem, but then we have some other issues. This is in the back of the school. We've got cracks all to the exterior of the building, which is some structural integrity issue. This is the slab that's cracked. We have about an inch gap in between that, and then we've got this crack going here too. We just got brand new asphalt laid down there for a parking lot, so it looks real nice back there, but that's going to bring up some other issues that we have as far as drainage is concerned in the elevation. This is on the corner of the building, so the teachers park back here, the students come in, they walk on the sidewalk to go into the building. This is where the brick has cracked, all on the side of the building, and you're going to see evidence of that once we get inside the building, that we've just got some major shifting going on. And I think that that's probably a byproduct of the foundation. Okay. So they have a little atrium kind of area on the side of the building, on the west side of the building. It's kind of, they've planted some flowers, they keep their bicycles chained up out there. Well, the issue that we have is that all the water runs and builds up into this corner where the water gets about a foot high when it rains. You can see where the erosion is on the sidewalk. You can see how the wood has cracked, and I'm going to show you where that water gets into the building once we get to the inside of it. But it just retains water. This tube right here is what's draining the water out of that courtyard. It's probably about 10 inches high. And so I'd hoped to catch this when it had water in it, but you know, we didn't have water.
Is that tube above ground level?
Yeah.
Is that just catching it off the roof?
I don't know.
That looks like the roof.
Yeah. But the water has been up this high, which has certainly compromised this door, and you know, really half of this whole thing, I've been here one day when it was just pouring, and it looked like a pond in there. This is the inside of the building. And so I showed you some of the exterior structural integrity issues. Now let's talk about some of the interior ones. We're creating gaps. So this is the outside of that door, and this is when you're on the other side of the door looking out. There is a gap above the door. This is the baseboards. Throughout the whole school, the walls are ½ inch to an inch at times above the floor. And so, Les, I hate showing the nastiness of some of your stuff, but I know he's dreading it. But this is the reality of the situation. So what you see is that, what do we call this, Les, that goes along, is that the base?
Yeah, that's the cove base, yes.
Cove base. So that's probably about an inch gap, and then that's pretty consistent throughout the building.
The problem with that is if we get several months of steady moisture, then that gap closes because of this expansive soil at that location. So there's heave and hoe within that soil so that gap will go to 0 or it could expand to 3 inches.
Wow.
Do you have mold problems?
Not within that facility.
Okay, here's some other images of the gaps on the doors, which you see there's one at the bottom and top here. This is the main office when you walk into the building. So what you see is this door frame, which is square, and what you see is something is shifting where the wall is pulling away from the door frame, where we have a ½ inch gap on one side to a 0 gap on the other side. You know, and I'm going to give you some excellent illustrations that will give you the impression that this building is sliding off its slab. It's shifting and moving. Buildings aren't supposed to do that, are they, Les?
Not if it's a proper foundation and proper preparation before the foundation is poured.
The problem is that that's black clay over in that area. And water makes it expand and contract substantially.
So when they build a building, they address that through the subsurface.
Yes.
Yeah, but also you would need to examine the drainage of the water away from the building to try to keep that expansion and contraction to a minimum.
I'm going to show you some drawings that I think they did just that later on. All right, so we've got a gap here in the door frame. We have a restroom here. There's gaps all over the place. I mean, literally, you can see inside the restroom because of the gaps in the door. This is another floor where we can stick a yardstick under the wall. That's a wall, not a desk. This is the gaps I was talking about in the door, where we've had to put, looks like 5, what do you call those?
Scratch plates.
Okay, and put 5 of those in there to keep the door shut. And that door, I think, is to a restroom. This is another door frame that I'm sure wasn't installed that way, but because of the shifting, it evolved to that. Drainage issues, this is under one of the sinks. Then we also can illustrate the gaps in the wall with the ceiling tile grid. There's other drainage issues in the storage. I think there's been drips in the ceiling we have rust on the outside of one of the stalls. We can tell where there's been water settling in the bathrooms there. This is an employee restroom, the faculty restroom. This is their kitchen area. where there's limited ventilation. When I walked in there the other week, I mean, this lady had this fan blowing because it's so hot in that kitchen. I mean, she's burning up. So we have some ventilation issues there. This is the employee lounge in here, and this is the, I guess you could call it the administrative conference room, where we've had to install this for air conditioning. Because of, I guess there was no ventilation in that room at the time.
Oh, that's supplemented. You get an extra boost.
Okay. But how many, Parker, do you know how much staff we have at West? About 40 or 50?
Something.
Yeah. So small lounge for so many employees. All right, now we get to watch some video, okay? This wall, Daniel, where was this wall at?
This was towards the main area, towards the back, like if you keep on straight.
Where the kids come into the building?
Yeah, and there's like on the other side, it's like a storage room.
Okay. This is one of our facility workers, and here's the wall. Not much, he's not applying too much effort. Okay. All right. Here's the gaps we've been talking about. Now, also notice the moisture in this gap. You can tell where this wood has been rotting under this wall. And stick your hand under the wall. Oh,
Yes.
Don, look at the video. Maybe you'll miss the video. Yeah, watch.
I asked him if that was the plate.
Watch the video.
You know, for us architects, James.
Look, we can stick a ruler through one side of the wall to the other. Okay. All right, everybody's got to watch this video. This is my favorite video. I call this the ski slope video. Okay, this is the hallway that goes down the middle of the school from east to west, as if the kids were going out to the playground. Our facilities person has a ball that he's just going to let go. He's not going to push it or anything. He's just going to let go, and I want to show you the slope of this hallway. It actually slopes in two directions. It comes right to the camera.
It's not coming very fast.
Don says it's not going. You're killing me. Don says it's not going very fast. So this hallway goes downhill and kind of, because he started the ball on the left-hand side, it goes downhill and it slopes to the right. So before I talk about this building, what I'm suggesting is that building has got a number of structural integrity issues.
Did you say we own that building?
Yes. And so it's not a question of when, if we're going to address the facility, the question is when. You know, our maintenance crew and facilities crew has done a fantastic job in maintaining the aesthetics of the building. It's clean. That building stays clean, sterile even, but it's just got some issues with drainage and some structural issues. Next door to the building, on the west side, we have this facility. This used to be a law firm right beside AB West. And so I think the previous owner either retired or he's deceased. And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this in a second. Here's a side view. So if I'm standing out of the west side of our building looking over, you see this piece of property here. This is our drone taking an elevated view.
You don't put them on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wonder I'm gonna have enough left.
I'm sorry. And so, see, now I'm just pointing my hand like this. So that facility is very important to us for a couple reasons. What I am proposing, and let me pass these out. Let me pass these around.
We don't own that one, right?
No, we don't.
What was your question about?
We don't own that one. He said we have this facility.
So where that facility is, that law firm, it's right here. And you see that dotted line, that's his property. Our property that we currently own goes from here to that corner, okay? So right now, what you see here in this gray area is our existing facility. So what you see in the gray area here is our existing facility, right? What I'm proposing is building a building that is this yellow building. That's what I'm proposing that we build. And so what we would be able to do is fence off our existing facility, continue with school, while if we purchase this property, that's the first thing we need to do is purchase the law firm next to us, use it as a staging site for our construction workers. They can stage their equipment behind it. They can start building the facility here while we maintain and don't disrupt instruction to our students. Once the building gets done, the kids can transfer over, they can level this building, and then we can turn it into this parking lot with trees, a nice playground area, the whole 9 yards. But two things would need to happen. First, we would need to purchase the property next to us. And then we need to quadrant off our facility versus where we're going to build the potential facility and get started on that. Les, how big is our current building?
Just under 24,000 square feet.
Okay, and how big is the building that we're proposing?
Just over 40,000 square feet.
So, right now our current facility has no gym. Their gym is essentially outside of the cafeteria. They have limited space in the cafeteria. Their hallways are narrow and their classrooms are small. Okay? In this new proposal, what we would be able to do is not only add rooms, we would be able to widen the hallways as they should be, give them a full-size gym as they should have, and have a full-size cafeteria along with the other facilities, the staff facilities. They would gain 20,000 almost square feet. They would gain parking. One of the other issues that we have right now is the buses. If you can see this gray area, our buses currently go in and they go around where it says playground, and then they do a U-turn, and they're lined up all over the place. There's no place to park. So anytime visitors come, we have to park in the front of the school, which is really not designated for parking, because all the employees are parked around the building. We would be able to get adequate staff parking. We would end up having, I think this is probably still going to serve as our bus loop versus that, because these little yellow things are the covered patio areas where the kids can stand under when it's raining or it's too hot outside while they're waiting on their bus. It looked more like what a traditional school is supposed to look like instead of an office building converted to a campus.
So where would the buses go?
Les, help me out. I'm trying not to use my pointer.
They would enter on the right side.
Stop with me.
Okay.
So the buses would come in here, line up along here, drop off or load up, turn in here, go out this way.
Is that enough space for the return? Do they just bring the small buses?
They have all sizes of buses. That isn't large enough for any range.
Round off those corners.
Yeah. And currently what our buses are doing is coming in here. This is part of the building. Then they come in here and turn around, but we have employees parked all along here. Currently we have employees parked all along here. So it's a tight squeeze right now.
So it's basically there's only one way in and out.
Yeah, there's a bottleneck. It's just really bad when
It's like, frankly, if you can get the curb cuts, that you probably ought to have the bus be able to come in.
Come straight out.
And go straight out.
Yep. That can happen.
What about that?
So, but we need this property here as a staging site and to start to be able to expand the footprint of the campus. And then we, like I said, we would fence this off and work on all of this, work on this part of the building while the kids were in here, and then we transfer them over. It's going to take a good minute to do. Here are the classrooms. Potentially, how many classrooms do we gain
There are 30 instructional spaces
with this plan
with this plan.
versus how many do we currently have?
About 22 or 23, and they're not good spaces.
Yeah. Undersized is probably the bigger issue.
Yes.
Okay. You know, our special needs kids need a lot of space. You know, we have kids in wheelchairs, kids with physical impairments, need room in the hallways. Our hallways are really narrow in that building, especially compared to our other campus. So this is, oh, also this is a 2-story building, so it has 2 floors. This floor plan is just the first floor, and then this is the second floor. Once again, this would be the gym area, that would be the cafeteria, but these would be the classrooms on the second floor. Much better facilities, exactly what our kids need.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea of the approximate cost would be of the attorneys?
Right now, I spoke to Mr. Hooper earlier today, and he's thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000. But we'll see about that.
How much land is that?
How much land do you think?
It's 2 lots. I don't have a square footage on that, I'm sorry. I'll find it out for you.
We would use a realtor to go out and put a bid on it. We don't know what the status of ownership is right now on it, but it's just sitting there as vacant.
Yeah. Well, seems like you're gonna find that out pretty quick before you spend money doing anything else.
That's why we're having this meeting. Scope, larger facility, larger lot. Potential amount, about 10.5 million. We're going to talk about that in a second. We got some options with that, one better than the other. Timeline, pending board approval. I'll put this on the December board agenda, and then we could talk about it more, but ultimately, I need the green light from the board, a formal green light to move forward with the plans, all the things we have to do to be able to make it happen. Formal requests would come in the December board meeting.
And you think you would have enough additional enrollment to fill that facility up, the new facility up?
Mr. Parker.
Absolutely. I've been out talking to the districts that we currently serve, and obviously, even with the building that we have, they're very pleased with the service that we provide. Many districts will be driving over an hour to come to this facility. So, staffing it, having students in it is not going to be a problem.
And you have that many students that would qualify for our services there?
The other thing too is that, and Les helped me understand this, is that the capacity is for 140 students. Meaning if there were 15 kids in each class, we won't get to 140, but that's just the capacity of the building. That still fits our needs.
We're currently over capacity. If the day we open that, we don't have the student to put that at capacity, that's a good thing. That population of students is not decreasing. Everything we see, that population is